My name is Kenneth Moore. I am 38 years old. I've spent 20 years in prison. My integration back in society hasn't been easy. I look fine, but I'm not. When I walked into my cell in the mid-90s, I didn't realize that I would be spending 5.5 years of my life in solitary confinement. I remember walking into the cell and all I could feel was hopelessness and despair immediately. 18 years old, I was new to the system, never really been in trouble before. As an adult, thrown in a cell, I felt alone. All the prison noises, the banging, the swearing, the cussing. While you're in solitary confinement, one of the main ways to communicate and to get things from one cell to another is a thing that we call fishing. It's where you take a pair of boxers or anything that's in the cell that's useful to make a fishing line. Literally, they're fishing lines because that's what you do. You fish. You tie, get some paper, you make a string. We do this to pass desserts, kites, which are another word for letters, magazines, newspapers, anything basically that you want to get from one cell to another because there is absolutely no human contact. We make it and then we take it and we fling it out the door and it'll go in another cell. The solitary confinement and the sensory deprivation, years of it drove a relatively sane young man insane. And I started hearing voices. I started having little imaginary friends that in my brain that I would make up. So I would take blood and I would cover my cell and I would write messages all over my cell, help me, lyrics to songs that I knew all over the wall. I would bite chunks out of myself. I cut myself thousands of times, just over and over and over and over and over again with razors. I cut my neck multiple times. I never thought that I could do something like that. I look in the mirror now and I don't even recognize myself sometimes. It's like, how could I do this to myself? How could I destroy the body that I love so much? But that's what solitary confinement does to you. It breaks you down and it turns you into a person that you never thought you could be. It turns you into an animal. I would cover my window with paper, and that would mean that I would want to fight, because if they can't see inside the cell, that's a security threat, and they would have to suit up and come in with a distraction team and do a cell extraction on me. Every single cell extraction is taped. This cell extraction ended up being leaked. One of the guards snuck it out of the facility and gave it to a reporter. While I was in solitary confinement, I did a whole slew of new charges. I acted out, I assaulted staff, I committed arson, and I did a lot of bad things. I turned an 18-month sentence into an 8-year sentence. I was at my lowest. I had a bunch of cuts on myself, I had wounds on my body, and I knew I had to change. I took every single program available there in order to work on myself. And I realized what was important was my family. In order for me to change, I needed motivation, so they became my motivation. September 2nd, 2016, I got released from Maine State Prison. I spend most of my time in my room because that's where I feel safe, and I know I'm not going to get in trouble. I suffer long-term side effects from solitary confinement, agoraphobia, anxiety, depression. I'm afraid to go out in society. I don't, from day to day, I don't know whether I'm coming or going, and basically this room has become my own personal prison.